Hi, guys. Welcome to the Family Community Network. My name is Natalie Clark, and I am a sleep coach and a transformational speaker. And today I thought we would talk about dreams. I'm a sleep coach. I am fascinated by the world of sleep and dreams and its connection to our awakening. Because believe it or not, there is a deep connection with this. And this is what I want to talk to you about this week. So, can dreams fast forward our awakening? Our awakening process? I find this question really fascinating. And let me know what you guys think about this, okay? Because a lot of people don't really understand what sleep is, and they really don't understand what dreams are. When we think of sleep, we think, we're tired, we close our eyes, we go to sleep, our body does whatever during those hopefully 8 hours of sleep that you're getting. And there you go, like it's this big mystery, right? And science hasn't even really started to scratch the surface of the true potential that sleep has, its healing potential, and its awakening potential as well. Okay, so let's start talking about, what is sleep? It's not just closing your eyes and going to sleep. A lot of people underestimate sleep. Most people do not get enough sleep. Most adults do not get enough sleep. And this is a real problem in our society. And this is something that I am trying to help people with, is not only getting enough sleep, but getting really, really healthy, consistent sleep. Because again, it's not just about sleep, guys. It's not just about recharging your body, although that's incredibly important as well. But there's the mind stuff as well, the non-physical things that we don't associate with sleep. So when we sleep, it's our subconscious that takes over. So that's like the 95% of our brain that we are not aware of. Okay, the 95% of our mind that we are not aware of. My mentor says this all the time, and I absolutely love it, because it's true. We're only really aware of 5% of what our minds and our brains are capable of. Okay, and when we go to sleep, that 95%, that subconscious, is in the driver's seat, and it's in charge. It's doing whatever it needs to do during this sleep process. So this is a really amazing opportunity that we have when we sleep, because there's a lot of hidden messages in our subconscious, and it's also a vehicle to speak with our higher self. Okay, to speak with Creator, to speak with God. Again, whatever language, whatever word rings truest for you, use that. Okay, I typically use the term higher self personally, but if you don't like that, feel free to switch it up. It's all words, right, guys? So when we sleep, it's the subconscious that's in charge. Now, again, this is a great opportunity to speak with our subconscious, to get these hidden messages, to get these messages from our higher self, right? And so how do we do this? And why would we want to in the first place, right? Well, think about it. All our waking hours, what's the main thing that humans do when they're awake? We are moving around, we're doing things, we're keeping busy, we are hustling, 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 hustling. Well, that's synonymous with the ego, right? That go, go, go mentality, the hustle mentality, thinking that time is never on our side. All of these challenges and problems and situations that we face during the day gets our ego into hyperdrive, and we're thinking, and it never stops. It rarely stops. It does stop for some people. So we're always using the ego during the day. So we got to take a break from this. And again, night when we sleep is a perfect time for that, because that's when ego takes a back seat. Okay. Usually ego's in the driver's seat, but not at night, not when we are sleeping. It goes in the back seat. So, because again, our subconscious goes in the driver's seat when we are sleeping. And so let's take advantage of this. There's so much wisdom, guys. There's so many unexplored opportunities during sleep. Okay. So how are we going to take advantage of this? Well, there's a few things we can do. And I've been studying this for about, I would say probably about the last, we're at the end of October, so I would say probably the last 5 months, I really took a really deep dive into this. And so some things that we can do is we can write down dream intentions, sleep intentions before we go to sleep. Okay. And this can be any kind of intention. You can keep it very general, like I want to have a conversation with my higher self. We can get it very specific to the point where you want to speak perhaps to a loved one that's passed on. Okay, that's passed away, that's passed on to the next realm, the next life. We can take, let's say, for example, we have a personal item of theirs, right? Like maybe a photo or a little memento that they left us. You can put it under our pillow, that physical object, and also the intention, right? So maybe you want to speak to your maternal grandmother. Well, that's what you would write on your intention. My intention for tonight's dream is to speak with my, maternal grandmother, or you can specify her name. Put it under the pillow, and really feel that intention. Feel it, in your heart when you are reading it out loud or silently before you go to sleep. And then the other part in this that goes really hand in hand with the dream intentions is to keep a notebook or a pad of paper and a pen near your bed, like on your bedside table. And either like a flashlight or, if you have a bedside lamp, so that you can write out what your dream was when you wake up. And you may wake up in the morning when you're typically aware that you wake up, or you can wake up during that actual night, okay, in the middle of the night. Whenever you wake up, journal out what that dream was. And maybe it's just very vague details like a field or a purple flower, or maybe maybe you were having a conversation with someone, you don't know who that someone is, but it was in your childhood home. So just write that. Had a conversation with someone in my childhood home. Okay. And then what you're going to find is, as you keep doing this, you're going to get better at retaining your dream memories. Okay. And this is a key tool in helping us achieve that enlightened state that we are all looking for. Okay. And again, so this goes also with the intention. Because especially if you get specific in your intention, or even if you keep it general, right? You don't have to really have a specific question. Maybe you just want to maybe you want to explore a block. Maybe you're, maybe you're looking for a loving relationship with someone, but there's a block, right? You just can't seem to find that loving relationship. Well, oftentimes it's because there's a block in our internal programming. And so this is again an example of an intention. You can write down, I want to discover, or the intention for tonight's sleep is to discover one of the blocks that's preventing me from finding a loving relationship. Okay. And then as you wake up, when you wake up, whenever it is, whether it's midnight, whether it's 2:30 in the morning, whether it's 4:30, when your alarm goes off, whatever it is, jot down as much as you can. Okay. Even if you don't feel like it, especially in the middle of the night, I really have to push myself. Um, but really just write it down. And again, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be even full sentences. Just be like, childhood home, had a conversation with my grandmother. She had a purple flower in her hair. And maybe that's all you remember, and that's fine. Okay. Because again, this is a muscle that we haven't used, well, ever, right? Or at least not in this life. This is not something that is normally taught to people. Okay. Um, And so in that, as we keep journaling, we are going to find hidden meanings, messages from our higher selves in our dreams. And this is such a beautiful talent to exercise, guys. Okay. So much of our lives in this modern society is all about the physical. But I mean, in r in reality, and I don't really like using that word, but, you know, truly, it's not 100% physical. It's 50-50. 50 half of our reality is what we see, what we touch, right? The physical. The other 50% is what I call the non-physical, right? The invisible stuff. The things that you feel, but that you may not necessarily be seeing right now in your reality. So we have to remember this is 50% of our reality that we are not aware of. And it's by exercising, it's by doing these different kinds of activities, it's by exercising those muscles that we haven't exercised in a very, very long time, perhaps in many lifetimes. This is how we get better and better at better. This is how we get more in touch with with those non-physical components of life. This is how we start getting in touch with our intuition, our higher self. Okay. Now, what else was there that I wanted to share with you guys? I kind of take down notes just to make sure that I don't miss out on anything that comes through. Right. Okay. So let's talk about. So I gave you a couple of exercises, right? But what does this have to do with awakening, right? What is sleep? What is dreaming? What does keeping track of our dreams have anything to do with enlightenment, right? Well, quite a bit. Because again, that process of enlightenment, the process of becoming more and more aware of our true selves, is part of the non-physical. Okay, it's the part of our whole selves that we don't see. It's part of our whole selves that we are still not aware of. We may be aware of some components, but not all. Okay, and again, there's such a beautiful opportunity in our sleep, guys. There's such an amazing opportunity. Because a big thing that I have found, through my personal awakening and through, other people's journey through enlightenment and awakening and finding themselves, a big part of, we always hit that wall, right? There's always a place where we plateau and it feels like it's kind of stagnant, right? A big part of that is our mind, the thoughts, right? The doubt, the doubt that we feel, those heavier negative emotions. And all those heavy emotions, like fear, sadness, anger, frustration, depression, anxiety, all of these really like heavier feeling, lower vibration emotions. It all stems from how we were programmed, how our mind was programmed. And when I say programmed, I mean all the events, all the situations, all of the content that you have absorbed throughout this current life. Okay. So things that you, even when your mother was pregnant with you, and you were in utero, you were in her womb, you were still exposed to so many things. Um, Perhaps she was on prescription medication. Perhaps she was in an abusive relationship. Perhaps she was abusive to others, right? Um, Maybe she was taking illegal drugs. Maybe she was drinking. So those things, um, and then plus just the emotions that she feels. If a mother's in a when you are in a high stress situation, when you are in fight or flight, a big chunk of your day, your cortisol, your adrenaline levels rise up. Well, if you're living in that person's body, that's also going to affect you, right? It's going to affect you physically and neurologically as well. Okay. And even the conversations um, that we hear, okay, while when we're in utero. Okay. So many things, guys. Just the stress of the environment that our mother was in, right? I always say human beings, we are emotional sponges. We suck in all the emotions in our environment. Okay. And this doesn't exclude babies at all. If anything, they're probably even more sensitive to it, right? Especially in those early developmental years, those first 6 years. They're highly susceptible to programming. That's just how that's kind of like the mode that our brains in those first 6 years. So we've been programmed since day one, since before day one, with again the negative environments, right? Um, you know, political systems, educational systems, especially, I mean, school especially. Sit down, be quiet, only speak when you raise your hand. Again, yes, there's moments where we do need to teach respect to our children, but when people are constantly told, sit down, no, be quiet, da 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 da, well, it's going to affect you, right? All the teasing that goes on in the school, and what else? Just things that we see in the media, on television, in newspapers when we were growing up, the books that we read. Um, there's so many things, guys. There's so many things that we are exposed to. And again, this isn't anybody's fault. This isn't a blame game here. Far from it. It's just we need to understand that, again, we are like giant walking sponges, and we suck in energy, we suck in emotions, we suck in. I'm trying to keep this up so the volume's a bit more clear. Human beings are giant emotional. We're just sponges, like I said. We take in other people's energies, we take in emotions, whether there's a negative or positive, all the programming that we don't realize we have been exposed to, even conversations with our parents, even something that's kind of said casually in passing that may not even, we don't even think that it affects us that much. Like maybe, I don't know, when you were a teenager, you tried on a kind of, a top, or, a top with a certain color. And maybe your friend or your brother or someone was like, oh, it kind of makes you, you don't look very nice in there. Or you're like, kind of makes you look fat or something. Just even something like something so simple that it could probably wasn't even said to be harmful. Where do you think that goes? In that 95% of your mind that you are not aware of. Okay. And so again, so bringing it back to sleep. Sleep is a great opportunity to reprogram all of these self-limiting beliefs that we have. Okay. So, how do we do that? Well, there are some fantastic sleep meditations. And I highly recommend that you visit Brian Scott's channel, The Reality Revolution. Drop the link in. I'll drop the link in this video, and I'll also just put it in the bio page of this channel. Okay. Because again, when we are sleeping, it's our subconscious that's in the driver's seat. And it's in our subconscious that all of this programming, all of these self limiting beliefs, all of our fears, all of our blocks, this is where they live. So when we add sleep meditations um, into our practice, into our awakening practice, it can be incredibly powerful. I mean, I have woken up on many occasions in the morning and I'm a completely different person, right? Because again, as we start shedding these beliefs, as we start healing our past traumas, as we start forgiving ourselves, really, really like legitimately forgiving ourselves, we start shedding those personalities. Okay. We start becoming more who we actually are. So that's what I mean when I say some days I wake up, I'm a completely different person. Okay. And again, I am very, very picky about the sleep meditations that I listen to because, again, it is reprogramming that subconscious. And I have been working diligently to reprogram myself throughout the last year. So I'm very, very, very picky about who I let into my noggin. Okay. And so this is why, again, Reality Revolution. If you haven't looked up Brian Scott, look him up. Again, the link is going to be in the description of this video. Um, he has a lot of amazing stuff. He has a lot of stuff, but it's very well organized and everything. And his sleep meditations, I mean, they are out of this world, guys. And pun is completely intended on that one. So all of these elements that I've been speaking about today. So again, the intentions, the dream intentions, the journaling of our dreams, and the sleep meditations. These three things can really accelerate our awakening. Because remember, awakening, enlightenment, finding God, all of these titles that we put on this self-discovery journey. That's really what it is. It's self-discovery. It's discovering who you truly are underneath all those labels, underneath all those thoughts, underneath all those emotions. Okay? So when we can utilize sleep, when we can utilize our dreams as an awakening tool, absolutely you can fast forward through this journey. Because again, the things that are limiting us, the things that are blocking us, the things that are preventing us from really tapping into our higher self is our ego. It all stems from ego, our thoughts, our emotions, our doubts, our beliefs. Whether or not we think they're self limiting, most beliefs are self limiting. Okay. Until you start this reprogramming process, until you become aware of your thoughts. And another one of my favorite teachers is Eckhart Tolle. So I'll do some specific broadcasts on his work as well because it is absolutely incredible. Although I find it's difficult for some people to digest or even understand what the hell he's talking about. So I will be doing some specific broadcasts on his material as well. So again, yes, dreams can absolutely fast forward your journey to enlightenment. Okay. This is such an amazing opportunity that we have because again, when we sleep, that subconscious is in the driver's seat. Usually it's in the back. We don't even realize it's there. Again, 95% of our mind, we're not even aware of it. Okay. And when we sleep, that 95%, it's in the driver's seat, which gives us such an amazing opportunity to reprogram, to speak with our higher self, to get direct messages from the universe, from source, from higher self, okay, on the next steps that we need to take on our journey, on the specificities that are blocking us from reaching that next level of spiritual awakeness. This is such an amazing opportunity, guys, and we really need to take advantage of it, okay? So you can find me, at ncfdcoaching.com. Again, the link to my site is going to be in the description of this video. If you're interested in coaching with me, there is an application process. Visit my website on the contact page. It'll walk you through it, okay? Thank you so much for joining me, and I will be speaking with you all next week. And let me know, do you journal, right? Do you journal your dreams? Again, it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be complete sentences. We are talking about, you're probably going to be waking up at 2 a.m, okay? Jot down some words. Anything, even if you just don't really remember something, it's like, I think I always dream about being in my childhood home. I'm not sure what that means. So if anyone knows the meaning behind that, I would love to know. But again, if everything's really fuzzy and you're like, all I remember was sitting at the dining room table in my childhood home, okay, write that down. That's good enough. Some of my entries are super short, guys, like just one line, a couple words, and some are like 20 lines. Okay, again, the more you practice this, the more consistent you are about it, the more you're going to be working that quality that you have, that divine gift that we have, that invisible muscle that we haven't exercised in a very, very long time. Okay, so it's time. It's time to start doing these things. Okay, guys, because this is again an amazing opportunity to fast forward our awakening. Okay, I love you guys so much. I hope you have a fantastic week. And again, my if you go on the community page or the about page, whatever it's called, the bio, you will get the links to my Facebook, my Instagram, and my website. Okay. Have an amazing week, and I will chat with you guys next Saturday. Take care.